Morning, everybody. 10 a.m. It is February 21st. Welcome to my channel. Looks like there was some profit taking yesterday, especially in semis. Probably anticipating NVDA's earnings. Don't want to be caught on the wrong side. So taking profits on a lot of those names, a lot of semiconductors. NVIDIA took some nice profit taking yesterday because obviously who knows what's going to happen. Good numbers, bad numbers. You really don't know. So I guess people are erring on the side of caution. Sec where I fix this. Okay. And without further ado, welcome to my channel. My name is Stephen Gonzalez. I use volume profile, market profile to find structure in the market, along with supply and demand, gamma exposure levels, most traded price of the year, the rolling month, the rolling week, the preceding day, and anchor VWAPs. All help me find structure in the market and who's in charge. Okay. Earlier in the morning yesterday, I said that the Nasdaq was below the week-to-day VWAP and the month-to-day VWAP, right? And the ES was above it. ES battled that yesterday. I have to look at it again where it closed. They battled the monthly VWAP. So, and then what happens usually at the end of the day, because we have all these zero DTE options, is whenever there's a big sell-off, a lot of times that people take their profits, close their positions, and then that causes a big upswing in the market towards the end of the day. So that's usually what happens lately when we get a big sell-off. You know, it's all of a sudden they're closing their positions and the market violently rips back up. So that's that. And without further ado, welcome to my channel. Subscribe, set an alert if you haven't already. And you can always give me a thumbs up if you like what you see. You could also follow me on X at Gonzo719. Alright, we can get right into the futures watch list. Okay, and let's see what's going on. More earnings this morning. Big one, NVIDIA is at the close today. Let's look at the VIX. We're over 16 on the VIX. Okay, we have strong relative volume as well this morning. So the VIX is at 16. It's holding above 15. Okay, there's some fear creeping in this market. The second half of February, February is usually seasonally a weak month. Maybe that's starting to come into play. 30-year bonds up 0.13. Gold's up 0.1. Crude, whoa, that's interesting. Crude was down earlier. Crude quite a bit. I got to see what news there was in crude. 10-year yield yesterday is at 4.2. That TNX doesn't report until 8:20. We can take a look at that later. The dollar is pretty much flat. Remember, we have FOMC minutes today at 2 p.m. as well. Silver's down 0.09. The Dow is down 0.16. ES is down 0.29. Russell's down 0.41. Okay. Nasdaq's down 0.64. So right now, the Nasdaq is the weakest out of the indexes. Bitcoin, probably some profit taken there. You just broke 50K. I don't know where that goes. So that is down 1.4. Ether's down 1.86. Okay. Now I saw there's a lot of we can look at the Fed watch tool and see now where the market's pricing in rate cuts. Let's move on to the Mag 7 Plus. We got BABA is up 1.6. Amazon up 0.56. You see Jeff Bezos is selling. He sold so far 50 million shares, I believe, or he plans to sell 50 million shares. So he sold a lot. You can see that on the insider trading. But they're up 0.56. Now, they are getting added to the Dow and taking away Walgreens. So maybe that's probably getting some love because of that. All right. You have Apple that's flat. And now, let's see here. We have Tesla's down 0.78. AMD, semis, more weakness prior to NVIDIA's earnings today at the close. Okay, so people really taking profits in these semis because nobody knows what's going to happen, right? And NVIDIA is down 1.73, down to 682. Closed yesterday at 694, already down 682. All right, Snow actually got an upgrade, and it's down 2.31, possibly because of Palo Alto's not great earnings. Okay, Palo Alto's getting hammered. All right, and coin, of course, following Bitcoin, down to 166, and coin was up at 192 or something like 193 or something like that not too long ago. So that stock is just crazy mover. Okay, now we can move on to the swing trades. I'm sorry, top sectors. Let's see here. Walmart. All right, had earnings yesterday. Obviously, talking about the Vizio 3-to-1 stock split coming up. Costco. Let's go to some laggards here. Interesting here. United Healthcare down 0.59. Healthcare, I noticed yesterday, was up and then went negative. So now Eli Lilly got a downgrade, actually. Interesting. It's been on a tear, probably due for some profit taking. Qualcomm down 0.95. There's the Eli Lilly. They got downgraded. Okay. Home Depot got downgraded as well. They're down 0.71. All right. So that's the reasons for that. Let's look at my swings. My swing trade list. Okay. What's this? Crisp Therapeutics. They're up 3.71. Garmin, mentioned buybacks. They're up 3.46. Toll Brothers had earnings. They're up 2.37. That's about it for really any kind of movers, right? So what does that mean? Probably a lot of negative, right? So let's look at that. Palo Alto getting slammed. It's down almost 25%. You look at that chart, it's like, whoa, it went all the way down there. Slammed. All right. VRT, one I've been eyeing up, I talked about yesterday. They didn't have the best earnings, so they're down 10%. CrowdStrike in sympathy with Palo Alto. Okay, they are down 10%. Fortinet, see, these are going to be the cybersecurity stocks. They are down 7.92. And then you got Mara, Bitcoin, that's down 5.71% because that's going to move with Bitcoin, right? Ring Central, I believe, had earnings. Supermicro Computers is down 4.18% after getting a little love yesterday. They are down 4.17. Riot and Bitcoin. Enphase Solar. I did see some Solar Edge or something, some solar stock that got. I'm not going to speculate on that, or I don't remember it, but I remember some kind of solar stock did not have the best earnings or something like that. Might be a sympathy play. Palantir, ARM. MicroStrategy, obviously. Walgreen getting out of the Dow is not going to help that. Datadog and sympathy with Palo Alto. All right, those are the ones that are getting hit this morning. So not good earnings. Okay, we'll go back to here. We'll go back to my top sector stocks. We'll move on to sectors. All right. Now the leader this morning is energy. Energy must have had some kind of news or change or let me see if I can see if there's any type of news. I don't see anything. Right now I don't see anything, but so energy. Not much leaders here, but we do have laggards, right? Now, what makes our market move? Healthcare is down 0.39. XLK makes 29%, up to 29% of the S&P 500. Semiconductors is down 1%. Right? So semis are really they're taking profits because you just don't know what's going to happen with NVIDIA, right? What if NVIDIA's numbers don't line up or whatever? That's going to hurt all semiconductors, right? So that's what's going on there, right? And relative volume is pretty nice this morning. Okay. We can look at that really quickly. Look at the relative volume we're firing at, especially in the NASDAQ, of course, because that's what's a lot of semis. You can look right here at the relative volume. We're 121% of the normal volume in NASDAQ, and we're 94% in the ES. That's not bad at all. All right, that's where you want to be. All right, and we can move on to some news. And the economic calendar. Okay. Let's go with some economic calendar for today. I mean, there's not much. Obviously, FOMC minutes. So let's see. Today, we have Fed Bostic speaking at 8 a.m. Okay. What else? Let's get the Fed Bostic speaking 8 a.m. Bowman at 1 p.m. FOMC minutes at 2 p.m. Okay. That's going to cause some volatility. Sometimes it's a nothing burger, but we'll see. We'll see, right? And then after the close today, we have NVIDIA's earnings. NVIDIA's earnings, okay? Let's look at some news. Let's see here. It says exclusive U.S. targets China's top chip making plant after Huawei. I forget how you say that. Huawei. I think it's called that. Mate 60 Pro sources say the Biden administration has turned up the heat on China's top sanctioned chip maker by cutting off its most advanced factory from more American imports after it produced a sophisticated chip for Huawei's Mate 60 Pro phone. Amazon to place Walgreens in the Dow. Talked about that. What else here? I talked about Palo Alto, bad earnings. Teladoc also not the best. Wix reported earnings. I just want to get into some news that's really gonna just want to make sure. You know, nothing to see here. Nothing to see here. Real quick, let's look at the earnings. What came out? So yesterday's close was Palo Alto, Teladoc, Caesars, Toll Brothers, right? And then before the open today, Vertiv, which didn't do good, right? And Wingstop, Wix, HSBC. Okay, today after the close, NVIDIA, Rivian, Etsy, Lucid, Dutch Bros, Marathon Oil. Okay, so that's the ones reporting after that. Now, real quickly, we can go to the Fed Watch tool and just see what kind of cuts we're pricing in here. Okay. Let's just see what has changed. So this is March, right? That used to have a cut. Now there's a 93.5% chance of just a pause still. We're holding steady, right? As we move to May, we're into May, right? May in Fed Fund futures right now is 62.7% chance we don't cut. 35.1% chance we cut a quarter basis point. Okay? Not until we get to June is where the cut is expected now. 53.1% expect a quarter point basis rate cut. This is a very much change from the beginning of the year. Okay? That is a change. Alright. Alright, now we can get into, that's pretty much, see if the juice got anything for us. It does have some stuff in here, right here, where we talk about Federal Reserve to cut Fed funds rate in quarter two. Says 86 of 104 economists, slight majority of 53 say in June, 33 say May. So that's kind of what I just said and showed you guys, right? What else? That's about it. I talked about the upgrades and the downgrades already. We can move on to the daily charts. And let's just see what we did yesterday. Alright, let's get rid of this trend line. Let's just zoom in maybe from this point. Okay, so what did we do yesterday? Yesterday we gapped down, right? Kind of held that. Alright, so we opened here, closed here. So here's that big 0 DTE profit taking. Boom. Right? So pretty much close right below the 90 EMA daily. Okay, we didn't quite hit the 20-day simple moving average. All right, this was last week's highs, this is last week's lows. We're right in the middle of last week's range. Okay, you're really in the middle of the muddle here. You're really in the middle of this range here. Okay, really in the middle of this range. I mean, let's just do a quick overlay of the volume profile just to see where we're at here with volume here. All right, so we get some volume up here, right here, building out volume right here. That's what I said, in the middle of this range. Okay, so that's what we're doing there. So back to here, where are we now? 495. We are right at the lower, towards the lows right now. That is obviously a bearish structure, right? Now look to the left, right here. So this day, February 14th, Valentine's Day, was the support yesterday. So I would think if this breaks, let's see how you handle this 20-day simple moving average, but you could very well bring us down to 491, 490. Okay, that's last week's lows. That's last month's highs. Okay, that could be a very well a stop if there's farther selling. Okay, so we really have to check, really have to see. Okay, now Qs, you can see much weaker in structure. Okay, let's get rid of this trend line. Okay, so look what the Qs did. Now I knew this was going to be a big level. I saw it when it crossed this 425 level. You can notice this was last week's lows and the previous week's lows. So you broke that, right? And I felt that was going to be a little bit of a bear trap. I was like, this is not going to, I don't see this moving way down. The internals were not that weak, believe it or not. The breadth was not that weak. The overall market breadth was not that weak. It was kind of like in the middle. Okay. But obviously tech was weak. So you know what I mean? It's a market cap weighted index, the S&P, all right, and the Nasdaq. So that's why you got that push. All right. But look at that. That held. Now, however, right, that held. You broke the 20. All right, you closed underneath the 20-day simple moving average, right? And where are we now? We're at 424.60. Right? So we're right below these last two weekly candles. All right? So weekly lows here, weekly lows from last week here, very pivotal level, 425. We're underneath it right now. We're right here. We're right at it. Okay, if you look to the left, that was support and resistance as well to the left, right? Resistance, support, 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 support. Okay, so if you break this, I would say the next level you're going to see is you have a trend line here. So let's look at this like this. Okay, if we break that, we could definitely see got a trend line here, so you can see 419, 420, even 416, right? 50-day moving average is at 414. It's rising, so I would say maybe 416, 415. That's possible areas that we can go, okay? Which would be normal. You get a pullback, you know, it's very frothy. Pull back and reset to this trend line. Now, I'm actually, I might do some type of put ratio or something targeting this 50-day moving average, okay? Because we're still in a bull market, okay? We're still in a bull market. So that's what I'm seeing with the Qs. Let's move on to the triple-headed monster. Let's look at fear. Fear is finally back. And the 10-year yield, let's see where we're at. 10-year yield. 10-year yield is only down 0.09, okay? Let's look at this together. All right. This is last week's highs, last week's lows. All right, let's get a little closer in here. All right, we're above the 20-day or the 50 days flattening out and starting to rise. All right, moving averages or fanning out. You got the 90 MA daily, you got the 20, you got the 50. 200-day moving average is now rising. All right, so if this continues to go higher, that should put more weight, okay? So you're looking at a resistance of 4.3 and a support of 4.298. So 4.3 and then 4.334 resistance. Okay. You break out of here, that's going to put weight on stocks. You drop, the market could have, you know, could go higher. Okay. Let's look at the dollar. The dollar got some weakness here. Boom, boom, boom. Hitting this support level though. Okay, and it's also last month's highs. Okay. Have to see what this dollar is going to do. Very similar to the bond market. Okay. It's had a rally. Rallies are bad in a dollar for commodities and equities. Okay. Now, VIX. We got fear back. Okay. We were down here. 12. Right. Then you had CPI. You get that huge spike. Came all the way back down. Now look, we're above 15. We're above the 200-day moving average, the 100-day moving average, right? We're at 16 right now. We're at 16, okay? You know, if we start to hover up in this area, so just to give everybody an understanding, a 16 VIX pretty much tells you that a 1% move in the markets will happen. Okay, 16 VIX means usually an anticipated 1% move up or down today. 32 VIX is a 2% move. Okay, remember this is a fear out, a fear of a month out. That's what the VIX represents. Okay, now we can get over to, I'm seeing Fed Barkin speaking right now. Let's see. Trying to see if he said anything that's really going to fire anything. Alright, so let's just look at what he's saying real quick. He's saying January data made things harder, but should not put too much weight on the month's information given seasonal issues. Recent data on PPI and CPI have been less good and is showing the dependence of disinflation on goods. Then he's given themselves credit. The big picture of U.S. data on inflation and jobs has been remarkable. Okay. All right. Let's move on. Let's move on to market profile and volume profile. We'll look at structure together. Okay. Let's do it. This is where to get the structure from. Let's do it. All right. Just gonna get my trusty marker out. Okay. So, what do we have here? Okay. Let's look at this mini distribution profile. So, distribution here, you got it. Then you got a little pocket, then you got another distribution, then you got yesterday in this morning's. Okay, so you do have a little excess to the top, and this is looking like a bearish imbalance. Okay, you're usually going to see one of these to end the selling. Right now, we are underneath the most traded price of the week. Price is right here at 49.73. We're underneath the most traded price of the week. Okay. Most traded price of the month is still down below at 49.16. Okay. Now in the 24-hour session, it actually is here at 49.67. Okay. So what else? Weekday VWAP is red. Sellers are in control for the week. Month-to-day VWAP is red. Sellers are in control for the month. Okay, that's how we look at that. Now, if you want to see yesterday opened here, pushed up, drove all the way down to this demand zone here. Then it got bought up. Okay, then it found buyers. However, we are back here. Okay, so if we look at structure from yesterday, we got yesterday's highs, yesterday's lows, overnight highs, overnight lows, and we're close to the lows of yesterday. Okay, that is bearish. That is bearish. Okay, now we do know that in 24-hour trading, that means like everything's included. This is the most traded price of the last month, which is 49.67. So I would say this level with demand here is going to be not the easiest to cut through. Okay, it's just not. Okay, that's just the reality of it. It's not going to be easy to just cut through it. If it does, that is a big feather in the cap for the bears. Okay, that's a big feather in the cap. Okay, now if we look at what we have here, okay, we're holding lower. Now we opened here, so we have this much long to this much short. I wouldn't say the skew is that big to be like wow, but right now you're pretty much more short than you are long in the overnight. Okay, and you're at the lows. Okay, now this overnight right here, this overnight level right here, the overnight high, lines up with the most traded price and week to date VWAP. There is a supply zone here. Okay, this is considered a weak high. Weak highs are just multiple inflection points lining up. Okay, so you have week to day VWAP, you have a supply zone, you have the most traded price of yesterday in the overnight high. You also have its value area high of yesterday's session. Okay, so we're all the way down here. So sellers, let me explain that. This is 70% of the trade happened in this area yesterday, right here. 70%. 70% of all trades happened in that area. The most traded price was here. The overnight high is here. Okay, so if 70% of trade happened here and they were most likely shorts, right? If we come up here and test this and pop above and hold it, you can go right back to the most traded price of the week. Okay, and you can look at it inversely. All right, you can look at it, if it holds, then you're probably going to go test these lows. All right, so that's really like a line in the sand, two lines in the sand, here and here. Okay, that's how I'm looking at this market. Now you don't have a perfect week low here, because if the overnight low was here, right, then you'd have a week low here. And then it's, do we break this or do we break this? Okay. So if we're going to talk about a bull case, right? We talk about the bull case. Bull case, all right? You have demand here and you have that 24-hour most traded price of the month here. Oh, I didn't want to do that. Okay. Most traded price of the month here of the 24-hour session. You have a demand zone here. It's almost used up though. Okay. However, you have to respect it. So what I can see possibly happening is a little bear trap. Come down here, you break yesterday's lows. Nobody knows that this is the most traded price of the month in the 24-hour session. They call it the Globex, and it's a bear trap. You push down, come back up, higher low, higher low. This would now test that weak high, this area here that I just pointed out. If you pop above it, you could pull back, hold. This could then go back up to yesterday's highs, okay, and possibly back up to the most traded price of the week. Okay, and that price is like around 50.23. Okay, that is very possible. Now you have FOMC minutes at 2 p.m. All right, so I'd expect, obviously the market dies down usually around lunchtime, 11:30, 12. Okay, I would expect, sometimes you don't have much going on only for the first hour and then it dies down. Sometimes you do have some movement and then it dies down. So I don't know how it's going to work out today, but that's something that you have to be prepared for. Okay, now if you're talking about a bear case, I just said to you that this week high determines right here, right, what happens today. So if the market does come down, okay, two scenarios here. I'm going to put them out for the bears. If you do get that bear trap and you can't go lower and you do exactly what I said, it comes up here. However, this is week to day VWAP, monthly VWAP, supply zone, yesterday's most traded price. If that holds, now you got liquidity here to take out and we can really take a move down. Okay, really take a move down, possibly go to this demand zone here around 49.48. Okay, you have the most traded price in the RTH session at 49.16. I'm not saying we fall that far, but this is a significant level. It's going to cause pain. Okay, it's going to cause pain. Now we also, I wouldn't like this as much, but you also could just come down here, boom, and go as well. That's what I see in the ES. All right, now moving on to the NASDAQ. Let's see how this differs. Does it differ or is it the same structure-wise? All right, let's look at it together. Okay, let's look at this together. Okay, now that profile's got many distributions in it, right? Right there, right? This is also coming to a little bearish imbalance, right? You don't really have much excess here. So usually you like to see excess from a profile, but you don't have it. Doesn't mean it has to happen, but when you're holding lows from yesterday, right, and the people who bought from the lows here are now sweating. Okay? Now you do have a similar setup, very similar in structure. Okay, now these levels moved around a little bit. Most traded price of the month right here, that's at 17,600. Okay, most traded price of the week is up here. That price is 17,865. Price is right here at 17,500. Okay, so we're underneath all major levels. Okay, underneath all major levels. All right, now we're underneath. Here's monthly VWAP, way underneath it. It's red. Sellers are in control for the month. Sellers are in control from week to day VWAP's red. Control for the week. Okay, so sellers are in control right now in the NASDAQ. Okay, Now, right off the bat, you have yesterday came right into a supply zone and sold off. It pushed right onto it, sold off. Okay, that was the high. Here's the low. All right, it actually went all the way back to the mid of the session and closed here. Now, the skew in the overnight inventory is more skewed in the Nasdaq, so you have this much long to that much short. Okay, that's almost 90% net short. 90% net short. Okay, so you could possibly get a bear trap here, but like I said, a lot of the indications that I just said favor the bears. Okay, favor the bears. Now, here's the level right here that's important for bulls and bears. In this area, you have most traded price of the month, most traded price of yesterday. You have the close from yesterday. You have the overnight high. You have supply zone. You have a week-to-day VWAP, all in here. All right, that is the area that has to be defended by the bears. So this is the line in the sand, just like on the ES. Okay, same scenarios here. That's everything. This is everything. If this market moves here, that's the test right here. You break it, you're probably going higher. You find resistance here, you're probably going lower and testing these lows. Okay, so very simply, if we Alright, so I'm going to get into these scenarios. We can go right to the bull one. Alright, so again, you don't have a demand here. Okay, you do have yesterday's lows. So if we break yesterday's lows, you could possibly get a little bear trap here. Try to think we're going to go a little recover. Higher low, higher low. Now you test this area. Okay, if you break it and kind of hold it, you're probably going to go up to the most traded price of this year, which is right here. Okay, that's what I see happening. Now, bearish play. Can we come down here and just knock out yesterday's lows and hang down here and fall? Yes. Okay, sorry about that, guys. My daughter was leaving for school. So that's one scenario, right? Is that you come down here, you break, you hold, you could fall, okay? Now, but the real one that I'm going to look for is if we do this, get the bear trap, come back up, test in here. Yeah, supply zone, most traded price of the month, most traded price of yesterday. Like I said, you got yesterday's close, you got week-to-day VWAP. Oh boy, is it confluence, right? And if you try to put your head up and you get rejected and you start making lower highs, that is the fuel, okay, that you can come back, test yesterday's lows, because you'll have this liquidity here to take out, and you can fall down to possibly a naked VPOC, which is just an untested most traded price of the day from the past. Then you have this demand zone here and the 50-day moving average in futures. Okay, what price level is that? That is around 17,250. Okay, that's what I see. So I like today because it's very clear. Excuse me, I'm just stretching. It's a very clear plan. It's a very clear plan. And both indexes are kind of doing the same thing. Both structures are kind of the same. And that weak high in the ES and the Nasdaq are the place to make your decision. All right, and let the market lead you. Okay, now remember, FOMC minutes and NVDA earnings today. I don't know what's going to happen, but I'm excited because I like this plan today. Structures are lining up. All right. So that's going to be it for me today. Okay. And whoever's watching or listening or watching it back, hopefully you got something out of it. All right. Hopefully you did get something out of it. All right. So subscribe, set an alert if you can. All right. If you enjoyed it, please give me a big thumbs up, a like. Help me out. You could also follow me on X at Gonzo719. I wish everybody good luck. Stay green. Stay patient. Don't force anything. Let it come to you. Let the market tell you a story, and then capitalize. All right. All right, everybody. I'll see everybody tomorrow.